Cool. Perfect. We are on. Welcome to another live stream, ladies. Today we are getting into something so many of you always asks me about, and it's just like bloating and why we are not able to reduce any fat from specific areas. So I do have my expert fitness coach over here, Ophi, who will be sharing her experiences because she is also a fitness coach and she helps so many other women. So Ophi, do you want to just say something about you?
Absolutely. Wendy, thank you so much for having me on. I am also a fitness coach and I have a true passion in helping women really get confident in their bodies and achieve their fitness goals and just really get to a better place physically and mentally with where they are at in their journey. And one thing that we always see, and I'm sure Wendy, you've seen this as well, is women are struggling to lose body fat in certain areas of their body and
Yeah.
are not understanding why. And there are a handful of reasons that we're going to be going over today and giving you guys a few teasers exactly as to what those reasons are and really dive right into it.
Yeah, honestly, like so many girls are usually asking me, like, hey, why I cannot lose the lower body fat, or why I'm holding a lot of fat on my thighs and on my arms and so on. So I'm actually glad that we're gonna talk about this together today because I want to learn more about that too. So let's just dive into it. So do you want to just like start with the conversation?
Absolutely. So, one of the very top reasons why we are not able to lose body fat in certain areas, especially our lower stomach, is
Okay.
because we actually can't choose where we lose fat. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about doing only arm exercises if you want to lose the fat on your arms, or only leg exercises, or 1,000 sit-ups to lose that belly fat. It doesn't work like that. Our body composition is all different. That is why we see women that have very small upper bodies and they hold most of their weight in their thighs. And then we see the opposite, where we have people that hold most of their weight in their upper body and they have really skinny legs. Or the classic more weight in their stomach and then skinny arms and skinny legs. So,
I actually
first
want to ask
reason.
ladies if they can put in a comment like where are you mostly holding your body fat, so we can just see kind of like the trend in our bodies, because everyone will be unique, everyone will be different. So if you can just put it in a comment, that'll be amazing, so we can kind of see how everyone is different actually.
Absolutely. See who the majority are at when it comes to your clients, because that also is always super helpful. Just knowing a bit more about where people feel they hold on to
Hmm.
their body fat more, and also for yourself, for
Hmm.
your own awareness of how your body works. So, that is the first thing I wanted to go over. Second thing would be men and women are very different.
Hmm.
And that is a big factor why the way a man will work out and the way a woman will work out will be
Yeah.
different. And men typically will hold fat in their belly. It's very unusual that men will hold a lot of fat in their legs, which is
Hmm.
why if you ladies are maybe doing workouts with your husbands or with your partners and you are seeing that they are getting certain results that you are not getting, it could also be because you are different genders. So testosterone is a very big reason for that. Men have a lot of testosterone in their body, which helps them build muscles and burn calories more efficiently. Unfortunately, we don't have as much. But that is also why they hold body fat differently to us, and they don't have the same hormonal shifts that we do when we have our cycle. So we are constantly having different hormones fluctuate in our body, and that is another very big reason why it can be very difficult to lose body fat in certain areas. Have you seen that with a lot of clients, Wendy?
Yeah, like honestly, everyone's complaining if when they start to work out with their partner, they're like, well, he just lost like 10 kilos, and why I didn't lose 10 kilos at all. So yeah, it's very common, I would say. And even me, sometimes I'm like, that's so unfair. Like literally, this guy is like going to the gym like once and then he's shredded. And then us like women, we go like 5 times and then we cannot get the muscle proportions that we want to. But yeah, it's just because of the hormones, which is something that I've learned a lot as well along the way. And a lot of girls are actually coming to me and they are like, I'm scared to lift weights just because I am scared to get bulky or get big. But again, as you said, like guys have a lot of testosterone and we don't have that, so we will never get like super bulky. We will just get the toned definition. So this is something that I wanted to point out actually. But yeah, just continue.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I've had so many clients come to me and they're scared of lifting weights and they're like, I don't want to look bulky. I don't want to look
Yeah.
like a man. And I'm like, I promise you that will not happen. And
Yeah.
once you're able to break past that mental barrier and you start lifting weights and feeling confident, you're on a different level of feeling confident. So I highly encourage anyone who's still a little bit skeptical about lifting those weights, it's
Mhm.
time to lift those weights.
Yes.
And then onto those hormones as well. There are certain times in a woman's life where we have the most amount of hormonal changes. So typically that would be puberty,
Mhm.
pregnancy, and being in menopause. And in
Mhm.
those specific times, that is even harder to lose body fat in certain areas or body
Mm.
fat in general, just because that's when we're having so many hormonal fluctuations. Our body is just trying to adapt to what is going on. And I mean, pregnancy, obviously, we are growing a human, we are going to be holding onto fat to protect it. So
Mhm.
these are the things that we also really need to consider is what phase in one's life we are in. And
Mhm.
if you're in that phase, it's totally normal and just to embrace it because it is just part of the beauty of being a woman.
Yeah. Do you know anything? Just sorry that I'm jumping in. Do you know more informations about the menopause? Because obviously I have like clients from like 40 to like 60. So do you have maybe any like tips or some kind of like suggestions when it comes to the menopause and losing the belly fat or body fat in general?
Absolutely. So when it comes to menopause, your fluctuations in your estrogen levels are very, very high, which
Mm-hmm.
also means that your immune system will be compromised. So
Mm-hmm.
your tendency of getting sick will be a lot higher. And as we
Okay.
know, when we are sick, we can't push as hard, we can't
Mm-hmm.
recover as better. So that is
Yeah.
when you actually want to lock in even further to making sure that you are getting in the food that is correct for your body, that you are hitting your macros. And a very big thing, which may seem so small, is making sure you are hydrated because you are wanting
Mm-hmm.
to really flush your body correctly so that you're not too dependent on other things that you'll be putting into your body that are going to disrupt those hormones.
Yeah.
So that would be my biggest tip for the people
Okay.
that are falling into that category.
Interesting. Yeah, and I also heard like when it comes to menopause and losing more body fat, it kind of regulates by how much carbs are you actually eating, if you are lifting weights, like heavy weights as well, and then also a little bit of cardio is also recommended, just to burn more body fat to kind of like increase the blood flow in the body as well.
Yeah. If there's any time in your life that you don't want to be doing a low carb diet, it is when you are going through menopause.
Mm,
That is a really awesome point that you've raised, Wendy. So, highly
mm,
encourage anyone that is maybe a bit scared of carbs during that time because
yeah.
they're worried that they're going to hold on to fat. If anything, your body is going to be needing those carbs. And
Mm,
then a very, very common question I always get asked that is super relevant to us, it's relevant enough to be a monthly question, is our cycle. So,
yeah.
fun
Let's dive
fact,
into that.
we all have a uterus, believe it or not. And our uterus, when we are not having our period, is actually the size of a kiwi. So it's pretty small, it's pretty snug, and we all know where that lies. It's just under our lower belly area, which is also what I've noticed to be one of the most highly sought out areas for someone to wanting to be losing fat in, because it's very often the last place we lose fat. I'm
Mm,
sure with your competition, you've seen when you've had to get to a certain body fat percentage, the
yeah.
last percentages came from that lower body fat.
Yeah. For me,
And
it was my lower body fat, and then also arms. These
yeah,
two.
And the reason for that is because it's a protective layer
Mm.
for the most important reason we are alive. We are here to reproduce. And we have a layer of fat that is protecting us so that
Mm.
we can reproduce. Now, when we are on our period and we're feeling bloated, we might not feel like ourselves. That little kiwi has expanded into the size of a grapefruit. Now,
Mm.
if you know anything about fruits, that's quite a difference, and it's quite large compared to a kiwi. And that is why those jeans are suddenly not fitting as nicely. And we're looking in the mirror, not feeling too good about ourselves. But meanwhile, it's just our body
Mm.
doing its thing that it does on a monthly basis. There's nothing wrong with it. And at the end of the day, it's usually just a mental challenge of just feeling like we're a bit
Yeah.
bigger, and
Mm-hmm.
we're actually not. If anything, I like to say to my clients that the week of their cycle is their strong week because we are
Mm-hmm.
actually stronger when we are on our period. So instead of focusing on maybe the tightness of your clothes, focus on how strong you are.
Mm.
That is the week you want to be hitting those PRs, lifting
Yeah.
heavier, and
Yeah.
making that be what you feel good about. Because at the end of the day, that bloating is going to go back down, and
Yeah.
then in a few weeks' time, it's going to come right back again. So the sooner you
Yeah.
accept what it really is, the easier it is to digest that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all makes sense to be honest. And since I started to track my period, everything changed completely. Like my fitness journey just took a next level just because I knew when I will be actually bloated. So I kind of expected it already. I wasn't too hard on myself as well. I was like, okay, now it's coming, so I'm gonna just be like this for 3 days. And then I know that in 3 days I'm gonna be super flat, I'm gonna be super strong as well. I can go to the gym, hit some PRs and so on. So yeah, it's definitely important to track your period, ladies, like on a monthly basis, and that way you can actually schedule your really hard workouts around, or maybe just incorporate yoga just to feel better. Or don't be actually too hard on yourself during those days when you feel like you are bloated and you are just questioning everything. Why am I feeling bloated? Why am I gaining fat? But it's not actually fat, it's just the water retention, just because of the hormones that are working in your body. And basically your hormones are completely changing during this time.
100%. And I highly encourage everyone to really focus on exactly that, the tracking of your cycle, because it's going to make your state of mind so much clearer. Of just, okay, you're going in the gym, and instead of beating yourself up about it and thinking, oh, why am I feeling lethargic today? I've eaten right, I've slept right, I've gotten my steps in, that workout isn't
Yeah.
going well. And it's your body that's in the phase that it's actually recovering and it's actually not as strong
Yeah.
as usual. And we just need to accept those certain things. And just like you, Wendy, when I started tracking my period and just focusing on what those days represented, it made things so much easier for me because I knew, okay, I'm not feeling strong this week. There is a reason. It's
Yeah.
tracked. There's nothing crazy going on. I don't have to play detective and try to figure
Yeah.
it out. I don't have to beat myself up about it. I don't have to
Yeah.
nag anyone to ask them questions. It's just
Yeah.
obvious and it's there. And
Yeah.
that makes it so much more enjoyable when you make training part of your life and
Yeah.
you incorporate knowing these important factors into that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I highly recommend that. And yeah, I usually get like before the check-ins when my clients are getting the period, before the check-in when I am asking them for the pictures, they're like, yeah, I feel so bloated. I hate everything today, like I just don't like anything on my body. Nothing is working. I'm like, well, it's your weakest week. Just give it 2 more days and then we can talk again. So yeah, it's
100%. And yeah, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day is sharing this kind of information and just gaining that knowledge that makes this journey easier for everyone so that when that client is checking in and they're taking those photos and they're like, oh, I don't feel good, at the back of their mind, we've planted that seed of, hey, it's okay. There's a reason this is going on.
yeah,
And you guys, as the clients, can also acknowledge and go, okay, this is just my body doing its thing and move past that difficultness so that you can just focus rather on everything else that you need to do and be prioritizing other than that bloated, puffy feeling. So
Yeah,
those
exactly.
are, yeah, those are the very top reasons why losing fat in certain areas, it's not as easy as one thinks. And it's more just about being consistent, sticking to the plan, and
Yeah.
honestly, just never giving up.
Yeah, the consistency and sticking to the plan is like super important, and that changed my whole body recomposition as well. But I want to say also, for example, I see a lot of girls are comparing themselves to someone else, or maybe to me, or to themselves, like in my program as well. But I want to just point out, girls, that if you feel like you are not losing body fat, maybe in your belly or in your arms, but this girl is having better results in those areas that you want to, we cannot actually spot where we are gonna lose the body fat, because it's just your genetics as well, and your body is generally choosing where the fat is going first. So I, or me, like any kind of fitness coach or any workouts, will not actually help you to lose body fat in a specific areas. What we can do is to just literally tone the area a little bit more, and then the more this area is toned, the better it will look. But we cannot actually spot the fat going from that area, because that's up to your body, that's up to your genetics as well.
Yeah, 100%. And you'll see that in your family line, where that'll be the easiest place where you can see, because most likely where your mother holds on to fat is exactly where you will hold on to fat.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before your competitions, you noticed the last place you would lose fat would be your arms and your stomach. For
Yeah.
example, for me, it's always my stomach. That's usually the last
Uh-huh.
place. Arms and
Okay.
legs would be a lot faster. So, just an example how we're all different. We all have a different genetic composition. But as you said, everyone drop some comments about where you think you hold on
Mhm.
to fat more. That would be very interesting to know.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I want to also say, like, a lot of, no, not a lot of, but like some girls, they came to me and they are like, can I do more crunches? Can I do more ups exercises? Because I want to have ups. Also, we cannot spot the reduced fat from our belly. So if you want to see ups, or if you want to see amazing strong core, it goes to your kitchen. Okay, so we cannot do like a lot of ups crunches, a lot of some kind of like ups challenges and so on, because you will actually get stronger overall. You will actually get the six pack, but you need to lose the belly fat with the calorie deficit. But again, we just need to wait until your body will kind of start to respond on kind of like where the body fat is going away from. Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up. I once had a client that was so determined to not follow the nutrition plan and get those macros in, and said to me, I'm going to do an hour of abs every day and I'm going to prove to you that I can get abs and still eat whatever I want. And I was like, please, I would love to see this. And
Yeah.
as you guys, as you ladies can guess, it resulted in no abs because it doesn't work like that. As you said, abs are made in the kitchen, as cliche as it sounds. The only way you will be able to see your abs is if you have a low enough body fat percentage.
Yeah, totally. And I would also recommend maybe doing like a body scan, maybe in a gyms. I know that you might have to pay for it, but it's a good thing to actually check on your body, because we do have visceral fat and then kind of like the body fat that is more visible, because the visceral fat is like deeper around your organs that we also need to kind of tackle. But again, we are not choosing if this fat will go away, but we need to be mindful of this fat because it's internal, and we still need to lose this fat in order to be healthier, to function better, to live longer as well. So definitely get some body scans, ladies, just so we can measure this fat together as well. Yes.
Absolutely. I think that's super important, especially for the health of those organs. And the number one reason our visceral fat worsens is because of cooking oils. So,
Mm,
ladies, open your cupboards, check what's in your kitchen, because if you are cooking your foods with those unhealthy oils, that could be
mm.
contributing to your visceral fat that you cannot actually see. So getting that
Mm,
body scan, finding out what your visceral fat levels are at, and clearing out that pantry if it's got the wrong things. That's where I'd go to next after watching this.
okay. So if they cannot, or if they want to still use the oil, would you suggest something else?
Absolutely. First prize would be coconut oil because that can
Mm-hmm.
withstand a lot of heat. Olive oil doesn't withstand heat nicely, so that would be more used for dressings. So
Uh-huh.
those would be the top twos that I usually always recommend to my clients of choosing between. Anything else is unfortunately not the good stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I'm usually using is the oil spray just because it has like very low calories. And then if I need something, just to cook on it, I usually use water, to be honest, or I'm just like baking it. So I am trying to avoid a lot of vegetables, oils, because yeah, they are
Yeah,
not really good for the body. But yeah,
totally
this
agree.
this was super helpful. Like, do you have any last tips for those ladies who are kind of like struggling to lose the body fat or they want just extra motivation?
Honestly, ladies, just make sure that you are moving in your day wherever you can. Find
Mm,
a work break, go take the stairs, avoid the elevator, get that water in. We think those simple things don't matter, and it's more about going super hard and hitting all those workouts. But as long as you're consistent with moving the body, looking after the body, getting that water in, that is the first place, first
yeah,
thing you want to prioritize, and then add everything after. Because
yeah,
if you're just getting your workout in, but you're getting like 1,000 steps in your day, it's not going to be too helpful. So focus on getting those in, definitely.
true. And also, I would add to this one stress and sleep because we usually feel like if we are a little bit stressed and we are not sleeping, then we will see amazing results. But everything is actually happening in your sleep. So I would definitely focus on your nighttime routine, morning routines as well. Like, what time are you going to bed? What time are you waking up? Do you actually get like 7 or 8 good sleep? And if not, what can you do to improve it a little bit more? Like, can you get maybe better pillow? Can you open the window, so you have more fresh air and so on? So definitely sleep is also number one that I would like you to focus on. And if you feel stressed and you feel bloated, then again it kind of goes to the water retention, and it will be super hard for you to lose the body fat because your body is under stress and it has a lot of cortisol in your body. So we need to tackle the stress maybe by meditation, deep breathing, maybe go to sauna, go to yoga class, something like that. Or maybe just use those workouts and then just listen to good music, just pump everything up so you are feeling less stress, because the less stress you are feeling, the more the body is calm and it's able to release more body fat. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it was
100% agree
super
with all of that.
valuable. Yeah. I think we can just wrap
Absolutely.
up over here because it's already 23 minutes, but it was so lovely to have you here. I think, well, hopefully all those ladies are having amazing value. If yes, please put it down below into the comments because I definitely want to see what you've learned, if you've learned something new, so we know for next time. And yeah, I'm gonna chat with you afterwards.
Cheers, ladies. Thanks for having me, Randy.